We are preparing to go live. Please enjoy the ride. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on Facebook. My team members, please copy that link, paste it for us, or anybody for that matter. If you're on Facebook, copy that link and then share it to us. If you are already joined in on Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to 2:30 Conversations. You know us, we are all about thought facilitation and discussion. Let me see what announcements we've got for the day. There's two presentations that I received, and I just want to make sure that I've got the right one in front of me. 2:30 Conversations. I don't know how old we are now, but we are very, very old. And each and every one of you has been a part of this interesting journey. We have seen testimonies. We have had a lot of people share about the positive outcomes that they've achieved by virtue of being part of this organization. And thank you so much to each and every one of you that continues to make it possible for us to go live every Saturday. Follow 2:30 Conversation on the following social handles. We are on YouTube at 230 Conversations SDA. Follow us on the Instagram page at SDA Advertise. That is our partners there. We work a lot with them. Our programs are always being posted on SDA Advertise. So please follow SDA Advertise. And remember, if you've got any program that you would want to be advertised, SDA Advertise is a free platform that you can utilize. DM them and they will ensure that your programs are posted. Follow us as well on Facebook at 2:30 Conversations. Facebook, we've got the semicolon, so do not miss that one at 2:30 Conversations. Follow our TikTok page as well at 230 Conversations. These beautiful graphics that you see in front of you are done for us by Sister Kosi Ndimande. She is part of our team and she does an amazing job. So thank you to her. Thank you to each and every person that also forms part of that team. Side chicks, the rise of the other woman. Hey, lead Coach Mbuyi, Pastor Xhamela. She is also a commissioned pastor within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Bazalwane, and we are going to be learning a lot. Very, very vibrant. And I know that she's going to speak to us and we're going to have fun. We will open up for discussions. So please feel free. If you are shy, type into the chat box. We will be making use of that as well. Next week, we are going to be discussing the alpha female modernism, Tinashe Tanga. Don't miss that one. It's going to be an interesting discussion as well. Powerful women that are leading us. And for those of you that have not realized, we are used to defying the norms on 2:30 Conversations. At some point in time, we were running with the crowd. Come August, you know, then we would have like a barrage of female speakers. But now you've seen, I think last week it was a female speaker. This week is a female speaker. The coming week is going to be a female speaker. The week thereafter is also going to be a female speaker. And all of this is in March. In August, we're still going to have them coming here. We've got a dynamic lineup of presenters coming up. On the 9th of April, we will announce who our speaker is going to be, but we're going to be discussing politics and religion. 16th April is racism and religion. On the 23rd of April, we're going to be talking religion and the LGBTQ+. I think there's more there that we could have forgotten. So the plus is supposed to cater for that. On the 30th of April, we're going to be dealing with religion and spiritualism. I hope you are geared up and excited as we are, so do not miss them. May, we're going to be talking about the money encounter. As you can see that April is all about religion and the world. March was about our women and the world. February was the men and the world. January, as you'd remember, were the lineup of speakers preparing us for the year that is coming. In May, we are going to be talking money. Bazalwane. Ecclesiastes says that wine maketh merry. And you know, and all of those other things, but money answereth all things. And May, we are going to be talking about money, entrepreneurship, the practical guide, tithe and offering, me, the church, and money. We're going to be looking at Black poverty, personal experience. I've got a copy there of that book. Pastor Ntlantla Buteles is going to be joining us. What a beautiful book he's written. And we're going to be talking about Black poverty, personal experience. In fact, in preparation for the 21st of May, I might just be getting ahead of myself. We are going to be running a campaign where we're going to try and get as many of you to purchase a copy of that book so that the day when we have the discussion, many of us will be well versed on the issues that are contained in that book. And even far more above that, I think it is very, very important that we support our authors within the SDA denomination. So it's very, very important when they write, we buy. We've had Brother Tapelo come here with his book as well. I don't know how many of you have bought. We're going to have Tamsanga coming through. We've got many authors within our circles, and they'll be coming here to speak to us on the literature that they've written. 28 May, money and its classes. How broke are you not? This topic sounds like it was crafted by Brother Mtandazo. How broke are you not? It's going to be interesting. For airtime contributions, contact Mtandazo in the main and myself in the subsidiary. If you wish to contribute, we are grateful for all of those that continually contribute to our airtime data fund. And please do not be shy, Bafetu. Whether you are yellow bone or you are dark skinned, do not be shy. If you need data, let us know. Come to us, let us know, tell us we need data. This fund is meant for that. And we've got money, Bazalwan. God has blessed us. We've got money in our fund. That money has to be used. So please come in. Don't ask us for data to be texting umuntu wako at 12 midnight. It's for 2:30 conversations. So if you need data to come and join the platform, or you know somebody who is in dire need of these discussions that we are having, but does not have data, please let Mtandazo know, and we will ensure that that person is well taken care of. Thank you so much. Coach, is your microphone activated?
Yes, it is. I believe so.
You can hear me loud and clearly. You are pinned on my side. Coach, thank you so much for taking this time out to come and spend this afternoon with us. We're looking forward to it. May God richly bless you. Unfortunately, you know, my friends had not given me a full synopsis of your, what do you call this here, your introduction. But from the little that I know, which is a lot, you might not know me, but I know you. I've listened to numerous of your sermons. I have followed some of your discussions on Facebook Lives, etc., etc. And I know that we're going to be blessed today. And I think the vast majority of people here, they know you. But I am going to give this opportunity to you to pray for us, open for us in prayer. You can introduce yourself to us as well. Give us some shots on what you'd like us to know. Then let's jump into the presentation. May God richly bless you. Over to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Ashley, with that warm welcome. And I also want to thank you for the opportunity, 2:30 Conversations. Hi, this is Mbuyi Xhamela. Some people, they call me Mbuyi, Sis Mbuyi. Some, they say Pastor Xhamela. Some, they say Coach Mbuyi. I think I've fallen in love with this current one, Coach Mbuyi, because, of course, I'm a certified Christian counselor. I'm a relationship coach. A spiritual therapist. That is the study that I just acquired last year, and I'm also advisor in love matters. Of course, basically what I do, I restore individuals, restore family, I restore relationships, I restore spiritual growth as well, wellness in general, and how to better ourselves, you know. And of course, I am a founder of Wife Academy SA, where I'm actually mentoring some wives, newlyweds. I had to put that on hold because last year I was, you know, on a grieving spree. And so I also have other what do you call it, groups, Facebook groups, as you say, Ashley, you know me from Facebook. There's a ministry that I'm conducting there. Also on my personal Facebook page, timeline, as well as other groups that I have. There's a group called God's Girls and Guys Movement. There's also this new one, this new baby, which is Coach Mbuyi. I've recently launched that one, and that's where you are going to see more of my ministry. I'm passionate with prayer and fasting. As a result, I have several WhatsApp groups where I encourage both women and men to, you know, fast and pray all the time. That's what I'm passionate about. Every morning I'm up at 5 o'clock. I'm doing a program or maybe a ministry which is called Threshing the Floor. Oh, that's where I see a lot of testimonies, a lot of answered prayer, because as I say, I believe so much on prayer. So with that long introduction, can we just start with a word of prayer before we launch in our program for today? Our kind and Heavenly Father, Lord, I want to thank you this afternoon. Thank you for granting us an opportunity to come and tabernacle at this platform and encourage one another, enlighten one another, and also educate one another. Thank you, dear Father, for making me an instrument in your hand so that I'm able to say what you have sent me to say. Here are your children, dear Father. Some of them, they're gathered here, of course, curious because of today's topic. But I know some of them, Lord, have experienced this bitter pill, and they are here wanting to hear what you can say to them. And therefore, I invite you to come and tabernacle with us so that, Lord, you can lead us and guide us so that when we talk about some of these sensitive items, you are there as our Father to come and bless us and minister to us and give us a direction. I pray in the wonderful name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Ashley, do you want me to shoot? I thought after prayer.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. It's my,
Okay.
just struggling with the technology. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. You have already mentioned it. Some might be here because they are curious. In your prayer, you've mentioned it. It is an interesting topic. I am equally curious as well to see how it's going to pan out. We're going to give you the next 25 to 30 minutes to take us through the presentation. Might I request that during your presentation, you may note that there might be a whole lot of chit-chatting going on in the chat box. Let not that distract you. I will be going through the chat box. My team will also be going through it. We will be surfing on questions. Some of it will be very general. Whatever important comments that pertain to the discussion or questions are asked, we will put those to you at a later stage. For now, over to you. May God bless you.
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, I greet the viewers at home and everyone who's here. What an interesting topic, side chicks, the rise of the other woman. When I looked at this, the topic, especially the second part of the topic, the rise of the other woman, I had to correct myself and say, what, the rise? Are we saying they are we uplifting them or what? But another thing said to me, no, we are just saying it's rising, it's on a rising spirit. And so we need to know about this. And I really want to take my head off that 230 conversations that you are, real talks. This is what is actually taking place, and we cannot avoid it. Now, having said that, the first thing that I want to address, who is a side chick? As you were doing your introduction, I saw one of the charts. I'm communicative in my nature of presentation. I saw one of the charts. One of the women said, I'm a side chick to everyone in here. I said to myself, it is a joke. Of course, I take it as a joke. But some of us side chicks are right here. We have come to listen to what are you saying about us. But of course, some of the people would want to know, who is this woman? Who's this other woman? So that's why when I start talking, I say, who is a side chick? That's the question. And I want to answer that question shortly. The side chick is not unknown in the modern relationships. Also in relationships of previous eras, for that matter, the side chick is not unknown. She's given many names. She's a mistress. Some of us, we're saying that. She is the other woman. She is a side chick. The one who never comes home. Okay, she's the hidden one that no one knows. If you know her, she's known by those maybe who are supporting her in this kind of a ministry that she's doing. I'm using the word ministry because she is ministering somewhere. All right, she is a force behind the scenes that the man cannot resist. Now, I need to be very careful here because sometimes we think the side chick is a woman, but a side chick can also be a man, all right? So the side chick is the babe over whom the man is willing to risk it all. She's powerful, okay? And one other author puts it this way. He says a side chick are family members. Side chicks are family members. And I'm like, what? Are family members? And he further explains, he says, they sit within your husband's friends or your husband's colleagues when he invites them for your occasion, the wife's occasion. When he invites his friends, when he invites his colleagues, the side chick will also have a sitting right there, coming to attend an occasion. Be it we are having an anniversary. Unfortunately, the side chick will be there. Will it be a birthday of the wife? For goodness sake, the side chick is a member of the family because she is also invited. Okay, so they know you, basically, but you don't know them. So in a nutshell, I've tried to explain what a side chick is. Many marriages are troubled and many marriages are collapsing due partly because of the cause of infidelity. So when we are talking about side chick, we are talking about exactly infidelity. Now, the question the second question that I want to pose is, where is this coming from? All right, we know who a side chick is. Where is this coming from? Now, in attempting to answer that one, I will take you through to something. Our forefathers had concubines, right? And basically, when you are talking about a concubine / side chick, now they had the concubines that were known to their wives. When they were going out, you will hear a father saying to his household, you need to lock the doors, you need to lock at bedtime. Now, when he said that, the message was clear. I'm not coming back tonight. I will not be back tonight. I am spending my night with my concubine. And once he says that, no questions were asked. That is why back there you will see a lot of half brothers and half sisters all over the shore, which means this was kind of how could I put it? It was something that was the permission was granted. It was something that was well known, even if it was not something that was discussed at home. So be that as it may, as as it happened and it was all over, Christianity came with a new culture. And that Christian culture was saying it involved not only getting married to one wife or one husband, but making a vow before God and his people. And when you are making that vow, you are saying you are going to be faithful to her, or you are going to be faithful to him till death do us part. Now, there was a new culture that was introduced. But can I say to you, this new culture, it could not get rid of the culture of side chicks. Hey, it's stubborn, it's side chick. It's stubborn, it raises its ugly head, whether it's a Christianity culture or whether a vow was made, till death do us part. Some, unfortunately, church leaders still had side chicks. Some church leaders still have side chicks. Okay, so but while Christianity did not stop this practice of side chicks, many men had to do it Nicodemously. Okay, so many Christians. Another thing that I want to trouble, I want to be a nuisance, and I want to introduce this thing. Many Christians who do not read their Bibles, they do not know that there are some notable men of God in the Bible who had side chicks. I'm mentioning this deliberately. I'm not using the word concubines, because sometimes when we use the word concubines, we think it's something that is lighter. It's on a lighter thing. It's something that is something that is permissible, something that is bound to happen, something that is supposed to happen. So that is why I am deliberately saying many notable men of God in the Bible, they had side chicks. Let me start off with this one. Abraham. Father Abraham. Indoda, a great man who had great faith. Abraham, despite being married to Sarah, he had concubines. Genesis 25 verse 6. I want you to note some of these things that I'm going to say, and you have your own notes so that later on you can go back to them. Genesis 25 verse 6. It tells us about Abraham's side chick, and it reads, but while he was still living, I'm reading Genesis 25 verse 6. While he was still living, he gave gifts to the sons of his side chicks. Pardon me for using this word in the Bible. I'm using my preacher's license. He gave gifts to the sons of his side chicks to the land of, and sent them away from his son Isaac to the land of the east. So I'm saying Abraham did not leave his sons by his concubine empty-handed. He did not. He made it a point that he gives them gifts. His sons of Abraham. Hagar, who gave birth to Ishmael. By the way, Ishmael was the first son of Abraham. First son. Hagar was also regarded as one of his concubines. We know the story. I'm not going to get into that story. In Chronicles 1 verse 32, you must also note that one. Chronicles 1 verse 32. There's a lady by the name of Keturah. Keturah was Abraham's other wife after Sarah. Is also referenced to as his concubine. So apart from these two, where we are not told of any other woman who was Abraham's concubine, apart from these other two that I've highlighted. All right. Now, the other one is Gideon, also known as Jerubbai or Jerubesh, was a military leader. He was a prophet. He was a judge as well. According to Judges 8, verse 30 to 31, I want you to note that one as well so that you can write it down and refer to it. Judges 8, verse 30 to 31. Gideon had a concubine who bore him a son. Verse 31 reads as follows: for he had many wives, his concubine who lived in Shechem, and also bore him a son, and he named that son Abimelech. So you can also refer to that one as well. David, a man after God's own heart. Besides being God's favorite man, David, he had concubines in addition to his wives. The Bible records actually that David had 10 unmarried concubines. They were mentioned in 2 Samuel 15, verse 16. They were also mentioned in 2 Samuel 16, verse 22, as well as in 2 Samuel 20, verse 3. David, being God's favorite man, a man after God's own heart, he had 10 unmarried, unnamed concubines. Solomon, we know Solomon, that one, Iboza. Solomon was Iboza among all of them. Solomon had, and according to biblical records, Solomon had 700 wives, and he also had 300 concubines. Yay! Yeah. And also, we also have Rehoboam. In 2 Chronicles 11, verse 21, Rehoboam had 18 wives and 60 concubines. What was wrong with these people? What was wrong with these people? Intoni kangaka, 1,000 yonke ku Solomon, 700 wives, 300 concubines. And Rehoboam has 18 wives and 60 concubines. And one of his side chicks was called Maacah, one of his side chicks, who was a daughter of Absalom. Her name was Maacah. And lastly, we have Jacob, among many. We have Jacob. According to Genesis, Jacob had a concubine, and her name was called Bilhah. Now, Genesis 29, verse 29, I hope you are noting that one as well. It describes her as Laban. Laban is one of the wives of Jacob. This concubine, Bilhah, she is described as a handmaid of Laban. And she was given to Rachel as well, to be Rachel's handmaid. And because Rachel failed to bear sons for Jacob, so Rachel appointed Bilhah to be Jacob's concubine. So you can see that this thing was done, freely given, freely done, and it was as though it's something that was that was allowed. So when Rachel failed to have children with Jacob, Rachel gave over Bilhah to Jacob as a concubine so that she can be able to bear children for him. So side chicking is in the DNA. Allow me to say this. After I've taken you through to what the man of God, to what the heroes and of God, people who were called men after God's heart, because they were doing this, allow me to say, side chicking is in the DNA of unsaved men. I nearly say it's in the DNA of man, but I don't want to put a blanket statement. I don't want to put a blanket, to cover them with one blanket. That is why I am choosing words and say side chicking is in the DNA of unsaved men, which they inherited from their forefathers who were also unsaved. Let me put it that way. So siyasstrugglisha tina today. We are struggling with this pandemic, called side chicking. But allow me to say it runs in the DNA. Uzawuzisola wena, and you think, what's wrong with me? You are pointing it to yourself. You are saying, what wrong have I done? You are saying, what is it that I did not do that I was supposed to do? Hey, wake up, smell the coffee. This runs in the DNA. Okay? It is a pandemic. It is there. All right. So, but when you read the same Bible, because I don't want you to go home and say, which means the Bible allowed it, which means the Bible has been silent about this, which means the Bible gave a blank check to men to do as they please. Allow me, as the preacher of the word, to say, when you read the same Bible, you will find out that there are three things that the Bible has said about men who have side chicks. All right? Proverbs 5. These three, we are going to go back quickly to Proverbs 5. These three things are futuristic. They have futuristic consequences that would come to a man that is at fault. The Bible is not silent about it. The Bible has said that God only made the institution of marriage to contain a man and a wife. God made the institution of marriage to have one man and one woman. If you go back to the Garden of Eden, to creation, if you go back to creation, you will attest to what I am saying. This is what God has created. No side chick attached. So any man who breaks this rule may face these three things that are mentioned in the book of Proverbs chapter 5. Let me quickly get them to get them. Number one, any man who practices this is what is going to happen. The honor would be taken away and it would be given to others. The honor that God has given you, the dignity that God has bestowed upon men. We may think, Tina, as women, as nowadays women, we may think we are equal. It's a 50-50 makes 100%. But allow me to say this as a coach. There is an honor that is bestowed upon a man. The mere fact that you are called a husband, you are a husband. God has given you a responsibility to bind your home, to protect that home, to be a house band. But once you get into this habit, Proverbs 5 says the honor will be taken away and it will be given to others. Proverbs 5, verse 8 and 9. Verse 8 says, remove thy way from her and come not nigh the door of her house. Because verse 9 says, lest thou give thine honor unto others. So God, he might be silent about this, but God will actually remove your carpet under your feet. One day is one day. That honor, that authority that God has given you for you to be able to be the creator just like him, God will actually remove that honor one day and give it to others. Number two, strangers would be filled with their wealth. This is what is going to happen. Unfortunately, as people are enjoying this game, as people are feeling, because sometimes when they want to prove or when they want to test if they are still men, when they are low, when their self-esteem is so low, let me tell you, side chicking is done by men who are having low self-esteem. They think they want to boost, they want to test if they still matter. I'm saying in the process of them doing that, strangers, the very side chicks, will be filled with their wealth. Proverbs 5 verse 10 says, lest strangers be filled with thy wealth and their labors be in the house of a stranger. All your sweat, all your labor, all your money, everything that you have, it will go to the house of strangers. It means the other woman will have full access over your man's wealth. That's where the unfortunate part is. That's where the curse is. That's where the unfairness is. Because the other woman, by sleeping with your man, they have full access over your man's wealth. This is because the man has lost his honor. That was number one. He has lost his honor by sleeping with other women, by sleeping with the side chick. So the penetration of this other woman, it becomes so strong that she can demand anything from this man. That is why they say strangers, they are filled with his wealth. So which means the area that mostly suffers is the man's finances. That is the area that mostly suffers. Right? The third one, quickly, they will mourn at last. Yeah? The Bible says in Proverbs 10 verse 6, and thou mourn at last when thy flesh and thy body is consumed. Yeah? So you are enjoying it so long as it lasts. You are enjoying it. Your flesh and your body is being consumed in your side chicking. But the Bible says in Proverbs 10 verse 6, and thou mourn at last when your flesh and your body is consumed. So which means from this Bible passage, we see that men who welcome side chicks are bound to mourn at last. Imnandi into ebiweyo, right? A stolen sweet, a stolen whatever is nice, right? But the Bible says you will mourn at last. Some may mourn the loss of their finances. Some may mourn the loss of their wives or their children or their families or their health or whatever it is, their dignity or that honor has been ripped off from them. And that's why now you are going to mourn at last. So you better avoid it. You better avoid the side chicking. So as I continue, let me say the wives of today, Tina, the wives of today are not the same as the wives of those days. Okay? Of the Abraham, of the Solomons, of the whatever. The wives of today are not the same as the wives of those days. Let me tell you what happens with the wives of today. They are not ready to tolerate side chicks. Let me tell you, young man, let me tell you, as your coach, let me tell you, the wives of today, they are not ready to welcome side chicks. Let me tell you, the wives of today, they are territorial. They are territorial. The wives of today, they do not want to share their men. Lest you forget, let me tell you, let me warn you, they do not want to share their husbands. The wives of today, they are ready to walk away from that kind of a marriage. The wife of today, they get into marriage not to endure, but to enjoy the marriage. Not to endure, like they used to hear people saying, kuyanyamezelwa, emtshatweni kuyanyamezelwa. We are not here to endure. We are here to enjoy marriage. So what do we do? The question now says, what do we do? Do we allow infidelity to wreck the marriages? What do we do? Side chicks have let me tell you this, side chicks have grievous implication for the family. The side chicking has grievous implication for the family, because large scale of breakdown of families, it is because of side chicking. Large scale. Uncle Sam, what is this now? Oh, all right. Large scale of breakdown of marriages, it is due to this pandemic. And let me tell you something, when the unit can be endangered, it means the future generation is also endangered. All right. Many young people, they exhibit symptoms of children from dysfunctional and broken homes. And it's a cause for concern. It's a cause for concern, because let me tell you, family unit is the bedrock of any society. Now, and also any destiny, family unit is a bedrock. And so if you break that, you are breaking the society is gone. If you destroy family unit, then it simply means the society is gone. That's how the impact of this is. So why would men, the question now that follows quickly, why would men choose side chicks despite all the future consequences that I am talking about? Why would they do this? I mean, why would they do this? I said earlier on, it has nothing to do with you. As I am going to be talking about the following facts in answering the question that why would men do this? But I want you at the back of your mind to know that it has nothing to do with you. The question is, why would men risk and do this? And the answer is, let me tell you, a side chick's main responsibility is to keep things fun and exciting. That is the objective. That is the main agenda on the table. The side chick's main responsibility, it is to keep things fun and to keep things exciting. Now, what does this mean? It's the side chick is the ability of the side chick is to offer wild sex. Now, as a coach, I don't mince my word. I say it as it is. Her main goal, her main agenda, her main it is to offer wild sex, right? It is her main agenda to be present. It is a no drama. It is just to come and get benefits. No drama at all. It is to come and get benefits. And a man is drawn to a side chick due to wanting to have a peace of mind. This is what they say. Wanting to have a peace of mind, wanting to have a less stressful atmosphere, wanting to have a less commitment kind of an atmosphere, wanting to have, it is kind of an escape form that is less stressful, that doesn't have any pressure. There are issues in relationships that put strain on a relationship. And because men are cowards, because some women are cowards, instead of addressing those issues, they want an escape route to say, I want an atmosphere that is less stressful. I want an atmosphere that is fun. I want an atmosphere that will offer wild sex. I want an atmosphere that will be away from this strain, and that is away from money issues. That is away from kids' responsibilities. That is away from rent, having to worry about rent and so on. And therefore, I have to go and get into a side chick. So let me quickly get into reasons why there are affairs. There are reasons. And I want us to talk about those reasons quickly before I wind up. I want us to talk about those reasons quickly. And it says, all right, let me quickly go through these reasons why people would actually risk and do this. Some, they say it's lack of satisfaction in the relationship. They would say it is lack of satisfaction because for a relationship to be successful, both partners should feel stable and they should feel secure in all aspects. And so, aside from physical intimacy, this also requires emotional intimacy. So in one of the areas where you will have this, you'll find that it is lacking. It is lacking in relationships, and people they start to feel unsatisfied, and it increases the likelihood of having an affair. So people will talk about lack of satisfaction, and if we had more time, we would dive into these things that are causing this. Some people are saying it is feeling unappreciated. All these, feeling unappreciated, feeling unvalued, feeling undervalued. Some would say, some will relate to unrealistic expectations in relationships of a partner rather than the actual neglect. Or some would say it is because people are working, because people are doing this, and I'm the only one who's doing this, and I'm undervalued. And people will have all those excuses, all right? And most people who are aging, sometimes they have affairs with younger ladies or younger men, so that it is a way for them to prove that they are still attractive. A spouse can blame the affair on the other partner of letting him do this as an excuse. Some see it as an opportunity, a prolonged period of being apart from each other. They look at this as an opportunity. Long distance relationships and all those things. These are some of the excuses. And some other common reasons outside of sex that are contributing to infidelity: lack of affection and lack of commitment, lack of emotional intimacy, lack of fondness, lack of caring for each other, breakdown of communication, that relates to emotional needs. Physical health sometimes are some of the issues, and such as chronic pain or disability. Mental health issues, some people are paranoid, some people are whatever, depression, anxiety, substance abuse, sometimes people, those are some of the factors that causes things. But as I said, it has nothing to do with your inability. It has nothing to do with you being the cause. It has nothing to do with you not looking okay. It has nothing to do with a comparison of saying that one has figure, that one has lost figure. It has nothing to do with that. It has all to do with someone who has deliberately chosen that path of having to be a side chick. Okay. Now, let me talk about the effects quickly. The effects that it does to you as a person, a faithful spouse. The infidelity will undermine the very foundation of marriage. And in many ways, it causes heartbreak to you. It causes devastation. It causes loneliness. It causes feelings of betrayal. It causes you to be confused as to knowing, am I doing right? Am I still on fire? Am I doing this? It causes some marriage break after an affair because it causes a lot of continued stress and continued depression, and people no longer believe in trust. They no longer trust you. It causes a lot of things. But can I tell you that there's also the effect even on the cheater. Even on the cheater, the very one who is the cheater, it causes you to have anxiety. It causes you, it shakes you as a person. It causes you to have, post-traumatic stress. It causes you, it increases you to be distressed. It causes you to have a self-blame. It causes you to have shame. So it causes you also as a cheater. But finally, it also affects other members of the family. It affects the children, it affects the families, it affects the friends, it affects just about everybody. Lastly, a man, when I close down Ashley, a man was looking at his daughter getting married, and he stood up to make a statement, or maybe to make an encouraging word to his daughter. And this is what he said. I found it to be very touching to me. The father of the bride walked up to the platform and he looked at the daughter. He looked at the chief bridesmaid. He looked at the bridesmaids and everyone, the beautiful friends of the bride and the posh ladies from the men's office. And then he smiled and he turned to his daughter and he said, you will always be my child. You will always be my baby. You will always be, although you grew up and now you are getting married, you are still my daughter and you will remain so. Today, I hand you over to another man, your husband, to continue to take care of you. I trust that he will. I trust that he will, because he has chosen you from many other women in his life to be his wife. But listen to this one, my daughter. I want to tell you the truth. Among all the beautiful women gathered here are your husband's former girlfriends. Among the beautiful women that are here, some of them are your current the girlfriends of your husband and other friends. You must manage that very well, because before he decided to marry you, he has been with many and he has not completely sometimes detached from some of them. He might have chosen you, but the detachment, it's still going to take longer. I want you to manage you. A wise woman builds her home, but the foolish one destroys it. If I tell you there's an angel everywhere, I would be lying to you. But a man must learn to curtail his excess. Do not leave your husband because of another woman appeared in the picture. Find a way to stop him, but don't let that destroy your marriage, because you need to succeed in the marriage. And lastly, he looked at his son-in-law and he said, I'm sure you heard everything I told my daughter. You must respect her. You must love her. You must defend her. You must protect her. Don't do anything that will break her heart. She's still my daughter. And if you hurt her, you will explain to me. Be a loving husband, because let me tell you, remember, hell hath no fury like a woman who is scorned. Hell hath no fury like a woman who is scorned.
Coach, thank you so much. We are not getting to the end of our discussion. I think our discussion is just starting. And Coach Siakbona Kshush, you have to cool yourself down, because right now it's about to get lit. Let the hands start coming up. Coach, we've ran a poll. The question is asking, should side chicks be accommodated? Thus far, 58% of the people on the platform have already taken part in that poll. And I see now more are coming on. As it stands and the results are live, currently 85% of the people on this platform are saying, nope, Xhamela no coach, side chicks should not be accommodated. 16, oh well, now it's now 84 for 16. 16% is saying that they should definitely be accommodated. We'll keep watching the numbers. We're going to open up now for the discussions. There's a lot that's been happening in the chat box. There's a lot of emotion happening. There's a lot of opinions that have been shared. One funny comment says that the presenter is coming in support of the wives. We need a representative from the Side Chicks Association. I think that one was just joking, but may I just encourage all those that are going to be putting up their hands, let's be respectful to other people's opinions. No one is always going to fully agree with what you are saying. We might have differing opinions, but as we express ourselves, let's remain very, very respectful. Let's not be ad hominem. And if we can try and contain our emotions, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to take the lead from you, Coach. How do you prefer we do it? We can have maybe 3 hands at a time, and then you'll be noting down, and then we hand over to you. Or, you know, if you fear that you might forget some of the questions, we can have it 1 at a time. It might take longer, but I don't know, what do you prefer? We will work with what you prefer.
I think 3 questions would do. I think I can be able to manage that. 3 questions at a time would do. But can I also say something? I won't take long. With what you've just mentioned right now, it's a pity that I had to cut some of the things that I wanted to say, because in my notes, I also wanted us to look at this side chick and find out what makes her to do what she is doing. You know, and I wanted to, if I had time, I would iron out some of the, you know, things that make us think that this person is evil, this person is a home wrecker, this person is, you know, we give them those names. But I can tell you that sometimes these people, it's not their intention for them to be called side chicks. Sometimes, you know, these people, sometimes I'm not justifying what they're doing, but sometimes circumstances, you know, when I first got repentant, I used to be so judgmental and used to be so holy that I would not understand any person who is sinful. But life has taught me, life experience has taught me that sometimes you find yourself in a side chick you know, environment without you intending to be in that kind of environment. I can tell you, wives, bear me for a minute. I'm a wife, but bear me for a minute to say sometimes side chicks, they find themselves in that box. And in that box, it alleviates it sometimes it is caused by so many factors. We may not do justice to this factor. Sometimes we and in fact, I've noted it that it is a subject that I need sometimes to visit and talk about. But let me tell you, God, God, when he looks at a side chick, he doesn't just look at a home wrecker. He looks at someone who has been put in a situation that was uncontrollable. She had a choice, or he had a choice, but they did not make that choice. They found themselves in that situation, and they have to deal with that situation. But we'll talk about it maybe sometimes when we deal with the questions. Let me welcome the questions.
No, it's a very, very wide topic that can be discussed from different angles, and I'm sure everybody will appreciate that we might not be in a position to fully exhaust everything. Zaza, do you want to say something?
Hi guys. I have a couple of questions. The first one is since the Bible is so accommodative, and Umama's just mentioned that these men were unsaved, but we have Father Abraham, we have Solomon the wisest, we have David, we have very powerful people that did these things. And if you're saying that it's done by unsaved people, are we saying that they were unsaved as well? That is my first question. And the second question is, okay, so what happens then? I understand the whole situation inside checking and stuff. Some people do it because they really enjoy it. They don't like attachments and all that, and they feel that a person that is that is married is like already attached, so whatever they're doing, it's okay. So how in most cases, let me rather not say in most cases, I know of a situation where their wife was left for a side chick. The husband divorced and left the person, got married, remarried, and they've been married and they haven't even divorced. So what do you say in situations like that? What do you say in situations like that? Because maybe the person did not know at first that the man is married, or the man was just unhappy in the relationship, was in the process of divorcing, and when they met this woman already, he had hidden all these things, and the person, or he or she discovered later that this man had been married, then got married. Then why should it be so difficult? Why should we make the side chick like the most evil ones, yet they are in most cases they are the victims? And the person that we should be dealing with, I believe that it should be the person that is cheating, or person that went out to why should the wives or the mains be the one fighting for this person that is cheating? Yeah. And secondly, this is a comment. A friend of mine once mentioned that she's married. She says that women, we as people, we fail to be monogamous relationships are not our thing. That's why we even see it in the Bible that these men kept having different women, concubines and all that. It is because we are never satisfied with each other. So so she says that she doesn't believe that we're supposed to stay with the same people forever and ever. And it is okay to have an open relationship, like the Will Smith and Richard Pinkett have open relationships, and they see other people, they still come back home and do whatever they do as long as they respect each other in public. So why should we demonize these people? And yeah, I'll pause for now, but I'm coming back again. Yeah.
Thank you, Zaza. I hope you're not pausing because you saw that comment. Let's not make comments that will put people under pressure, guys. We don't want comments like your question is too long. Allow people to ventilate. So I think that the third one was a comment, Coach. The first one was on the but I'm sure you got them, Coach. We'll come to them. Unsaved. The first one was unsaved. And then I think the second was, why are we blaming the side chick and not the main wife? I think Andrew, please go ahead.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to firstly say that excellent presentation, love it. I guess my question was, how can a wife side chick proof her marriage? I think that's a really good question to ask.
Sorry, Andrew, did you get that, Coach? I didn't get that.
I didn't get that one. How can a wife do what?
Oh, he's muted. Okay, please unmute yourself, Andrew.
Yeah, side chick proof her marriage.
Oh, how can a wife side proof her marriage? Side chick proof her marriage. Okay, thanks. The good one. I think that takes us to the elder with the side chick. Your hand is up, but your audio is disconnected. So, elder with the side chick, I don't know how you've been able to listen to this presentation, but if you can connect your audio, and then we'll give you an opportunity to comment. Let's get the hands up, Bazalwane. Coach, over to you.
Okay, all right. The first question was quite packed. Although I tried to summarize what the person wanted to say. She spoke about, actually she highlighted Abraham, David, and all those men of God, that how can we say they were unsaved? I hope I can explain that one, that I think I did mention that, you know, things that were happening during biblical times. It's like these people, it was a norm. It's like it was a way, a lifestyle. It was like something that was, I mean, for a person to have 700 wives, you can try it now today. 700 wives. It's like it's something that was happening at that time. It was allowed or whatever, and it doesn't mean that they were not saved. I think I even made an analogy and I said, comparing women on those days that were, you know, didn't have a problem with those concubines, comparing them with today, I think there could be a problem today, because women today, they don't accept that. You understand? So for me to say they were unsaved, when I said at least today, to say people, when I actually mentioned, when I was talking about the DNA, when I said side chicking is in the DNA of unsaved men, you know, I was trying to say side chicking you will find in all the men, but not all the men are side chicking. But you will also find in men who do not fear God. And the question would be, say, did Abraham not fear God? Did David did not fear God? But I'm saying if it was allowed at that time, if it was a pattern that was allowed at that time, I do not think it is allowed now. That is why we are saying it is not something that is given a green license to say, therefore, because Abraham, because David, because Solomon, therefore, men today, elders, pastors, whoever, they need to do that. You know, I hope I answered that one. And to say side chicks are victims, I don't want to allow that. Side chicks are not victims. So to be a side chick, it's a choice. It's a choice. You choose. especially when you are aware that a person is married. If you are not aware that a person is married, like you have mentioned, I do not think we need to name you and to give you names and to hate you and say you are a side chick, you are a home wrecker. You are not aware. Guys, loving a person is not a remote control. It has to do with emotions. There's a lot that happens in a person to finally fall in love. And if you fall in love with a person, not knowing that that person is married, it's not just switching off a light and say, now that you know that the person is married, now you need to stop. It doesn't happen that way. Loving a person has to do with emotions. And if your emotions were entangled in that person, it's going to take some time to even tell your mind that I'm not supposed to be in this environment. You will be telling your mind, but your heart is in it. And we cannot blame you for saying your heart is in this. And therefore, I do not agree to say it is, you have to be a victim. Okay, I hope I answered the first one. The second one that says, how can a wife side chick proof her marriage? It is not upon a wife to side proof check your marriage. I said when I was making a presentation, it's a responsibility of the husband to house band your marriage. It's not upon me to say I'm going to do A, B, and C to prevent my husband to have a side chick. It's not my responsibility. I need to remain being a wife, God-fearing. But the husband, it's him who is going outside to look for side chicks. So why would I side proof my side chick proof my marriage? It's not my responsibility. It's the authority that has been given to a husband to actually ensure that there's no fire that gets into this house. It is the responsibility of the house band.
Coach Siyabonga, I'm going to take the next three hands from Norma van Hedens and Tolo. But before I do that, let me recognize our Facebook membership. Hlengisizwe Mlilo says, it's a humbling discussion. Truth sets all that are wise to hear free. Everyone has their downtime, but it's a chance for every man to take back their honor and be responsible. Not no to side checking. It's costly. And Amanda says that unfortunately, most heads cannot control their hearts. We've got a couple of comments that have been also coming into the chat, and my team is busy highlighting some of the standing out comments. And one person, alluding to what you've just said, says that being a side chick is a choice that someone makes, knowing full and well that the man is married. And then someone says, sometimes you meet a guy, fall in love with him, and then later on you find out that you are a side chick and it's hard for you to leave. Maybe that's could be a form of a question, that how do you leave if you find yourself in that situation? Norma, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ashley. I think, Coach, I just wanted to ask, because I think my question relates to the one that was previously asked, to say, I understand that side chicking is a problem and it's a sin, but I feel as though some women who are side chicks did not choose it. As much as they say it's a choice, maybe they got into this thing as a result of poverty, or maybe their backgrounds, that they were told that it's okay for you to be a side chick. Or maybe now some are sexually attached, that it becomes very difficult to just remove themselves. So if a woman now finds herself in a situation, or if it's a friend that is in the same situation, what can we do to help them get out of this situation? Because if they feel powerless or they're too attached to this person, what are some of the things that we can do to assist ourselves or our sisters who are in this situation?
Thank you so much, Norma. So, Coach, that's the second one. The first one is saying, how do you get out? So you've walked in there and you didn't know. You walked in unknowingly. The man was deceptive, just like the heart is. And I found myself in this situation. How do I get out? And then there's Norma's question. Van Heerden's, I'm not sure if it's Mr. or Mrs. Van Heerden, but please go for it. Van Heerden's?
Okay.
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just gonna say that some things in the Bible, so we're saying that Abraham, David, and so forth had wives and concubines. So some things in the Bible, they are descriptive and not prescriptive. I think we all know that, because they also did other things. So for example, David, he got Uriah killed and took Bathsheba, right? So if we were to follow everything which is written in the Bible, including the bad deeds that those men of God did, it would be unwise. So the reason why it's in the Bible is so that we can learn from those lessons and not necessarily to copy and paste every single thing. Again, Lot was said to be a righteous man, but when the angels came to his house and he took them in for refuge, and the men of the city came knocking on his door, asking for the men to be released, he said, "Take my daughters." So are we then saying Lot was a righteous man because, of course, he was saved from Sodom and Gomorrah? If someone comes to you knocking on your door, trying to rob you, would you say, "Take my daughters," for example? So prescription versus description, right? And then polygamy came after the fall. So polygamy was not there before sin. God made Adam and Eve, and it took several generations for polygamy to come. So polygamy didn't come immediately after the fall. It actually came after Enoch had his son called Irad, then Irad had Mehujael, and then Mehujael had Methusael, and Methusael had Lamech. Lamech is the first person in the Bible to be polygamous. And this is after sin, and it was several generations after creation. So there are people who lived several generations before actually being polygamous, and it came as a result of sin. So that's where I just wanted to clarify, where people are saying, but men of God were polygamous. And I'm like, yeah, well, they were polygamous. That was one of their character faults. So those people, about David and them, were not perfect. They are not our examples. Our example is Christ. What is recorded about them, there's the good and the bad. We learn from both. We learn what not to do, and we also learn what to do.
Yeah, powerful. That speaks to itself. So we still have 2 questions. Thank you so much, Van Heerden, Nozi, Mrs. Van Heerden, telling us that they are not our yardstick. Our yardstick is Jesus Christ. And on numerous occasions, God did call out those flaws. So just because they were done by men that later on repented, don't hold on to their sin, hold on to their repentance, and don't take chances thinking that you will also get the opportunity to repent as they did, because you might die before that happens, and then you are doomed. Bayom Tolo, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Onanzuweyo. Good to hear from you. I've got one question. My question is interlinked to what has already been alluded to, with regards to a side chick not given a choice or being subjected to be a side chick because there was an information that was withheld to her by the cheater, meaning that the husband. I'm trying to put myself on the shoes of the side chick, because I have an experience of being cheated too. So I understand the other side of the wife, but I'm trying now to be fair enough and put myself on the side of the side chick. And my question is, since it is clear that there are instances whereby the side chick is the victim, just like me as a wife is a victim, and then how can me and the side chick hold the subject, who's the cheater, accountable. But as we hold the subject, who's the cheater, accountable, we exempt ourselves from the acts or the sin of the act that he does, meaning that cheating. Okay, we are collectively pursuing or exploring solutions or holding him accountable for his act, but at the very same time, the side chick does not continue with this act after it had come to her knowledge. And I, on my side, I don't try to defend the cheater as my husband and say it's not his fault, but it's a side chick's fault. Now I'm trying to put myself on the shoes of the cheater. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Buyo. Bayo, are we going to hand over to our coach? Our coach, over to you. As the coach is presenting, guys, let's get the new set of hands coming. Coach, over to you.
Okay. I want to thank Mrs. Van Heerden. I want to thank her contribution. It is so spot on. In fact, look at I see the mercy of God. I see God operates differently than us. You know, I see him using Abraham, using David, using all these men that we think have faults. And I don't want to repeat what Mrs. Faried, whoever the lady that spoke here so well, that we need to look at Jesus. We need to look at Jesus. We cannot look at us as men. We can pick up all the good traits that were happening, but God operates differently. And coming to the questions, that how when you find yourself now that was the first question, you find yourself in the situation, you are a side chick, you didn't know or you knew, but you are in the situation. How do you get out? How do you get out? That was the question. You know, this question, it's as innocent as it is. And I want to believe that side chick is as innocent as saying, I find myself in this situation and I want to get out. How do I get out? I think I mentioned earlier on that, you know, when you talk about love, when you talk about the emotions, when you talk about that, you are not just talking about something that you just switch off. I think what makes you to even realize that what convinces you to say that I'm in the wrong, it is when you come to a point of knowing what God wants. It is when you realize that whatever that one does in relation to what God is expecting of us, this is what convinced you to even realize that you are in the wrong. And once that happens, then the same God who actually convicted you is the same God who will be able to equip you and help you to get out of the situation. Is the same God who will enable you and empowers you to actually see that this thing that looked nice, it's actually destroying you. It's actually robbing you. So the same God will be able to give you, you know, a way of getting yourself out of the situation. But of course, you yourself as well, as you have realized, as you have seen that this is not where I'm supposed to be. This is not what God has planned for me. This is not the purpose that God has for me. You will also be able to have a mercy on yourself to get yourself out of the situation. The second question was saying, now that we see that somebody was there, not knowing that the person was married and so forth, how the question of what to do to assist that person, it's actually similar to the first question. What do we do to assist that person to get out of the situation? I hope I recorded that question well. I think as children of God, the first thing, we need to stop being judgmental. We need to stop, you know, side checking is the same sin that this it's not different than any other sin. You might be doing other sins that are not side checking, and here you are coming to see, having binoculars and having microscopic eyes to see a person who is a side chicker as a person who is so bad is the same kind of sin. And if we are not judgmental, if we are not naming them or maybe giving them names, we will be able to help these people, especially the one who got in, found themselves in a situation not knowing that the person was married, you know. So our attitude as children of God can be able to help whoever is in the situation. Somebody mentioned earlier on in the voice that maybe you find yourself in a situation because of poverty, because of you've been promised this, that, and the other. We are the people who can be able to assist those who find themselves in that situation without having to be judgmental. The last question was, I like the last question by Bio to say, okay, both me and the side chick, how about if we hold the cheater accountable? Bio, I can tell you now, we are talking as though these things are going to be as simple and straightforward. I can tell you it is a process. The person who is a side chick, it depends on their attitude. It depends on whether they want to be helped or not. It depends on whether they are enjoying the ride. And you as a wife, for you to clap with the side chick and say and hold the husband accountable, it is something that will not need, you don't need the side chick to do that. You need to realize that you are not responsible for this situation. The person who is a cheater, I mean, it needs a spiritual maturity to be able to understand that this is beyond you. This is even beyond him. For him to find himself in this thing, it needs a spiritual maturity for you, for both of you to look, you know, to be in a pedestal, to look and see how this person needs help. This person needs help. And praying about it and trusting God about it will be able to help the very person who is doing this thing to be able to be free from this thing. So to think that I, as a wife and the side chick, we can clap together and try to hold this one accountable, I think it's something that needs a spiritual maturity for us to be able to do that. And also it depends whether the side chick realizes that you as a wife, you are able to see that this man needs help. I don't think sometimes the side chick is interested in that. The side chick is not interested in helping this man. Sometimes the side chick is enjoying the ride as it happens.
Thank you so much. I wonder if we can apply the principles of Matthew chapter 18 to this type of disputes, Coach. But we'll see. Let's see what other people have to say. Amanda Skosana on Facebook is saying, if you know your values and principles, you will be able to leave the situation. On WhatsApp, I've got an anonymous contribution, and it says side chicking is a mutual agreement from two old individuals who know exactly what they're doing. It's a mutual agreement. As a side chick, you offer a sense of comfort in a distressed man who just needs some peace and quiet from a talkative and always yelling wife. And as the guy who is there for a side who's been dealt a heavy blow by Mjolo from these inexperienced navy blue suit guys who are even stingy. And these are our bays who are unavailable for us emotionally. So being with a married guy seems as the only safe route. That's a comment there. Let's see what others think about it. Our poll is saying that 80% of the people in here are saying no to side chicks. 20% are saying let us make room for side chick. Chirido, I'm going to unmute you. Chirido's A12. I'm going to give you the opportunity to share, and then I am going to go to Mtandazo, and then I'll come back to you, Sizaza. Chirido, if you could please unmute yourself.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank Mbuyi for such an interesting topic. I think sometimes, as people or as children of God, we all need to be responsible. We all need to protect each other. I'm that type of anti-Rakhadi who doesn't take nonsense, and I protect my brother's wives with all my means. There was a time I posted something on Facebook and we had a very long chat about it. Some even came to my WhatsApp asking me, why do you have to do that? To be honest with you, Mina, if you are a side chick to my brother, I will deal with you. And if you are also a side chick to my brother, you bring presents to my mom or you buy something to my mom, I will also beat you. This thing is very much draining, it's very much painful. And I'm someone, I remember there was a time I refused to attend a meeting where a boyfriend to the lady was coming to the family to introduce himself because he gave the lady a child. I refused to be part of that meeting because I knew the guy is married. I cannot be part of a meeting where another wife is crying and I be part of it. I think as people, we need to be responsible. I think this thing, we can also stop it as maybe sisters-in-law, as mothers-in-law. If you know your brother has got a girlfriend and you allow the girlfriend to buy you presents, you allow the girlfriend to buy your mother presents, that is very wrong. There is this karma, but it doesn't forget an address. Whatever you are allowing your brother to do to your sister-in-law, it will always come up, it will always come around to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Trap and trap goed. Yeah. Yeah. Tandazo, what do you have to say, sir? Coach, are we on the same? Are we moving together? I hope we're not overwhelming you. I may have lost track of where we are. Should I take another hand or should I give it to you now?
You can take another hand because the last speaker was, she gave a very profound, a mouthful contribution. I don't think it was a question. I actually love the Rakhadi version.
Coach, also, we cognizant of the fact that it's 4 o'clock now and you don't want to keep you here for too long. How much more questions are you willing to take? What time are you going to be leaving us? These guys can go on until 8.
2 questions will be fine.
Okay. Over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much, Ashley, for that. Thank you to the team, the 230 Conversation team, for such thought-provoking topics that we have. My general feeling is that I think we pretty much talking everything to Adventism. I think sometimes we're not being practical in all of this. The side chick phenomenon is real and it's rising and it's scaring every woman and every man out there. Chances that you may be in a marriage, in a relationship where there's a side chick are very high. So she is not going to be ignored. She is powerful. Now, describing her like that does not justify what she does. It's accepting the reality of the situation. And I'm speaking to a comment that I think that was sent by Urev, where I think he or she says that there was a comment that came through that says that it must be the duty of the man to side chick proof the marriage. While that is true, you cannot be in a marriage or relationship and just sit and expect things to just work because it's not your part. Pastor Mbuyi, she says, in line with what she was talking about side chicks, they give wild sex. Men want that. They want that a lot. Wild sex. If I was a wife, I would try to give wild sex, do anything and everything to keep my marriage and relationship going because it's under attack. If there's a need that I dress in a certain way, look in a certain way, I'm trying to keep my marriage going here. It comes with effort. I'm trying to keep a relationship going here. It comes with effort. This thing of sitting on our sitting and just letting things just be and then say, no, I'm just married, it's okay, it's fine, is what's bringing the rise of side chicks. They do exactly what women don't do. They do exactly what wives don't do. Simple. They're beautiful, they dress well, they take care of themselves, they do every single thing out there. They try all their best. All I'm simply saying is, I think people must get to a point where I think people should stop being lazy in relationships. Pretty much, just stop being lazy, go out there and do what you can, because she is rising. This woman, she is rising every single day. She's becoming more dangerous than before, and she will topple the marriages. I know of a situation where a friend of mine, it's a friend of a friend, started off as a side chick, right? And then ended up toppling that relationship, and she got married. Side chicks are getting married. Yo, Jehovah, people should do what they need to do to keep relationships moving, doing their best. Let's stop being lazy here. There's a huge competition. My friend was telling me now he's married. Like, listen, man, women ask us out. He's married. And married men are a safer bet. One, his administration is less. Very much less. He goes home to his wife. He knows with his wife, doesn't bother you. You can pretty much live your life with and do whatever you want. There's less administration. So the alpha male there, the next best thing right there, the person that people would like to be around is a married man. He has a proven track record. He can take care of someone. So the reality of this is there, and we must accept that. Let's do our best to make sure that we keep our relationship as far as we can. If it fails, let it fail after trying. At least you tried. Nyabong.
Can I say something, Ashley? Hello? Are we still live?
Yes, we are. We can hear you, Pastor.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make a comment quickly in response to the previous speaker. He might be right. He's actually correct by saying, husbands want a wild sex. It's not only husband, by the way, if he thinks it's a husband. Wives also want explosive sex, okay? But I wanted to highlight, it's very true, many things that he has mentioned that causing side chick route. It's true, we can't deny that. We can't be on denial for a very long time. But I also wanted to highlight to him to say, marriage is something that needs both men and women to work on it. Marriage is not only based on wild sex. Marriage, it involves a lot of things. And those things, it needs you not to be a child to think that for things to happen, one person is supposed to ensure that things are in place. You are beautiful, you are maintaining yourself, you are giving me different positions and all that. Marriage is intense. It's very intensive. There are a lot of things. As a woman, or as a man, I'm working, I'm stressed by so many things. My wife cannot expect me to be all the time, romantic and all that. There are so many stresses that I'm looking at as a man. The same as with a woman. There are so many responsibilities that I am holding on, that I am doing, contributing to this marriage. And for me to always be ready to do all 10, 100 positions. It's not something that is possible. Hence, it needs maturity, spiritual maturity on both sides. Both of us, we need to work on ensuring that we create a situation for a wild sex. Both of us, we need to ensure that we have cherries on top that we create in this marriage. Both of us, we need to work intense. We must be intentional in enjoying this marriage. We must be intentional, both of us. So I'm not of the idea to say, you see, as men, this is what we want, and wives are not here to offer that. I'm not of that idea. We need, marriage is not for kids. Marriage is for people who want this to happen. You want to create this wild sex here in this marriage. And if it's not there, my brother, what do you do to improve or to make your wife to see it differently? What efforts are you making to make it a point that you are creating a situation where your wife can be explosive, where your wife can be stressless to enable her to offer you all this? So I'm saying it needs both of us to work on it. Marriage is there for working on it. You are not there. You have not arrived. You need to work on the marriage.
Thank you so much, Coach. Sorry for that little mishap. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for all the comments, the contributions. Coach, I know that you are about to head out. If you will permit me just 2 more hands. I've got Mrs. Ntombela. I'm going to go with Mrs. Ntombela first. I know, Zaza, your hand had gone up, and then I'm going to come to you, Zaza. Remember, guys, the speaker leaving is not the end of our program. We still have the after scenes discussion. So if you want to stick around after we've closed, we have more of like a free for all, even for the shy ones where you can talk and you're not live on Facebook, and we'll have more of a general discussion. Mrs. Ntombela, please go ahead.
Yes, I don't know how much I've missed, and I hope that I'm not going to be repetitive. But just to answer Mta and to emphasize what Mama has said, that this issue of thinking that sex is about a man, that if he's not satisfied, then he has a right to go outside. Then the same can also be said that then a married woman also equally has a right to go and get a side nigga, right? Because she is seeking the satisfaction that she's not finding in the home, right? So it's dangerous for us to say that people cheat because they are not satisfied, because it's as if you are supposing that it means all women are therefore satisfied, all wives are satisfied. That's why then wives are not cheating and men are cheating. There's more to it than that, right? But coming to the concept of the side chick, I think a lot of time we have demonized the side chick, right? Whereby she's the problem, as if everything was resting on her, all decisions were taken on her. Yet there is no side chick without a husband, as much as there's no wife without a husband, right? And I do hear the notion that both of us need to help each other when it comes to the side chick issue. But how much can you possibly help? I mean, what are the chances of your husband coming to you and saying, you know what, baby, I have a crush on Sibongile and I don't know what to do about it? And you not freaking out first and foremost. Do we have the level of maturity that is needed for us to be able to hear such a thing and be able to deal with such a thing, right? And also when we are saying the wife must help, how exactly is she expected to help? You know, this is something that firstly starts in the mind of someone. So if your mind or in your heart you have resoluted that this is what you want, how do I then help you? You know, it's something that people need to understand, that it's a battle that you need to fight when, as an individual, that I've resoluted in my heart that I will not sin, not with my eyes, not with my mind, right? And the same can be said to the woman as well. I think a lot of times we think that only men get tempted. Women get tempted too. Married women get tempted too, right? So it's very important that we acknowledge that temptation is a general thing and it's not a man thing, women get tempted too, but Rona, we're not, it's society does not allow us to fall into that temptation because of the gender roles that we've been assigned, that when as the woman, you're the gatekeeper of sex, therefore you can never ever fall into such a temptation. This temptation is solely reserved for men, right? Which is also not true, because if it was true, then we wouldn't have side chicks, because there are people who know this person is somebody else's husband, but they are tempted and they find themselves falling into that temptation. Therefore, we cannot come and say temptation is just reserved for men and women don't get tempted. Then we wouldn't have this side chick phenomenon if women did not get tempted too, right? So I also want to say that it's also a high time that we start looking at side chicks with the eyes of a human. You know, I think a lot of times because we have reduced them to nothing more than a side chick, that they feel that, oh, I get like a side chick, so I might as well make the best of it, right? Because that's what we have reduced this person to. We have taken this label and have made it their identity, right? There's more to us than just the labels that people have given us, right? There's more to people than the labels that they've been given. I interacted with a side chick while I was running a page called Modern Makoti. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say to her because I'm a wife and I've always been aggressive when it comes to this side chick issues. And now here comes this side chick pouring her heart out to me, saying, I'm in love with this man. I don't know what to do. You know, of course, the first instinct was to sweat her. What are you doing with somebody else's husband? That's why, you know. But now you have to compose yourself because she has come to you and she wants to be vulnerable and she needs your help, you know. And upon speaking to her and God showing me the human side of these ladies, because oftentimes now I introduce them, if you're a side chick, you're a rubbish of a person, when you're going to hell. But that experience opened my eyes. God helped me to see that there's a human being behind this person. There's a brokenness behind this person, whereby she feels like there's a certain level of satisfaction that I get when I'm with this man. He heals a part of me that no other person can. Yes, he's unavailable, and it is exactly his unavailability that appeals to me, right? So we need to be dealing with that. Why do people feel attracted to people that are unavailable? Is it because your father was unavailable when you were being raised, therefore you are attracted by this unavailability of this man because he reminds you of this father? What is happening? What is it that draws people to these places, right? And also I want to emphasize that it's not always women who come and throw themselves at men. I know as married women, we want to imagine that these women are always the ones throwing themselves, but our men also go out of their way to hunt for these women. And that in and of itself, it's also a problem, because I don't believe there's any little girl who says, now when I grow up, I want to be a side chick, right? So the fact that these men are almost allowed also to go into to a point whereby when he divorces his wife in church and marries somebody else, we will be raising them. Oh, please welcome Mr. and Mrs. Bani Bani. They've been newly married. That means that as a church, we are therefore accepting this phenomenon and we are saying it is fine. Do that, we are accepting it, right? And not seeing the hurt that it does to people and others and the family, how it breaks it, because we are accepting it, because we are saying it's okay. Therefore, we are setting also a precedence that when somebody else does it, we will do the same by accepting that, oh, okay, this is how life works. Let us accept it. So let us be careful of the precedents that we set with some of the decisions that we take as a
I don't know if she muted herself or what happened there, but thank you so much for that contribution, Mrs. Mtombela. Next time, please come early. We need to hear more of these things. Zaza, before I hand over to you, I just want to say a few things. It's very tough to share your input or comments when you are an anchor. So I'll just take this opportunity right towards the end to do it. Coach, I've interacted with many people, including side chicks. In fact, one very prominent side chick within the SDA community, Dineo Site, a good friend of mine, and she shares her story. And in fact, she went and started an organization called Akaho. I travel a lot with those guys. And I think I want to speak to what Mtandazo was sharing on saying, this thing lives within us, it's in our midst. What are the practical solutions to, meeting this thing? Because it's there. Women are crying on a daily basis. And it's not just women, there are children that are involved. This discussion could even go much, much deeper. I know when Umam Chiriro was sharing earlier on that now this guy is married, and he's now gone and impregnated somebody. There's a child that's now born out of that. We understand the whole drama and how we wouldn't have wanted it to be the situation. But then how do we react to it in such a manner that this child will not be exposed? Because this child is innocent of all of these things. How do you as the wife go out, and be able to embrace this child and ensure that you handle this situation in a manner, that this child will not be affected. I've interacted with side chicks, young people. In fact, just before this presentation, I had one sending me a message and telling me that, yo, Ash, I'm a side chick, dude. And, like we're having a proper discussion. She's telling me that this is, and she's probably here with a fake name. And we've got these things living in our midst. I remember my own grandfather, when he passed away, that man was busy. Coach, my grandfather was very, very busy. And I remember at his funeral, and these things happen a lot. Some of these, it's fine when you don't know. Now, Ashley is married, and only after he dies, and then children begin to pop up. Hey, and you'll be more stressed because at that point in time, there are life policies that have been given, and they've got names that you've never heard of. Or even if those names are not put there, then children start coming, their maintenance claims that are being lodged with the master. And when I, as the wife, you are still mourning, now you need to deal with drama. Wouldn't it have been better off had this thing been dealt with while you were still alive? When my grandfather passed away, they looked like him. You could not deny them. They came in their numbers and they wanted their share. And there's nothing, that could have been done. Obviously, I was too young. I was not going to be involving myself in that drama, but the family had to deal with it, and embrace these people. I can imagine that it would have been better off handled as a pillar. So these things are existing. We've got, and back to Dineo. Dineo's story is a painful one, but with a good ending. And I mean, Dineo's story ends up with shots being fired. She was a side chick. She knew very well that she was a side chick. She was a side chick to an SDA pastor, for that matter, an entire SDA pastor. We find those. In fact, they're more prevalent than amongst the laymen. Our pastors are busy. So, she was busy with, and she accepted that. She was happy. There needs that she had. She speaks about her background, how she grew up, the financial needs, the fatherly needs that she had. And then she found them in this man. And she got so comfortable in being a side chick that she took it personal when she was then cheated on with a young lady in Braamfontein. And talking about Braamfontein, you've got students who are leaving rural areas to come to Braamfontein to come and study. They can't afford textbooks. Some of them cannot even afford a decent meal. Then they come across these men and, they are confused. They need stationery. They need to pass. And then they end up putting themselves in precarious positions. And in trying to address these things and limit the amount of people that will become side chicks when they come to these big cities, she starts this organization where she tries to provide resources to these young people so that whenever they come to these facilities and the big cities, they almost do not have any need for a man, and they can squarely only focus on their studies. Because a lot of these side chicks, let's be honest, they're young students. Then obviously you've got those ones that set themselves out and then they just decide, well, now, I'm going to be a home wrecker. These ones here, their demon possession is at another level. And I believe with Chiriro, I'm putting my profession aside and please do not quote me, but those ones, we need to pray for them and we must beat them. We're not beating them, but we're beating the demon within them. They have no need. They don't even have background issues. They're not suffering from any psychological issues. When you are too happy and we're going to deal with this happiness of yours, will become a part of it. Those ones are a problem. But I think there are a lot of other situations where we can come up with really practical solutions, such as Udinewa has done. And there are different cases. And again, time may be limiting us. So I just thought, let me share this little bit as well from my side. I'm going to give it to Usis Zaza, our coach, to be giving us the deliverables as well. Respond to whatever you need to respond. Give us our key takeaways from today's discussion, and then you can close for us in prayer to close off this formal discussion. Thank you so much, Coach, and may God richly bless you. Sis Zaza, it's not that I'm closing you out by speaking blessings. I'm unmuting you. Please go ahead and speak.
Hi, I'm back. Okay. So Sis Ntombela covered almost everything I wanted to say, and the fact that we make I have an issue with with putting the responsibility of the victim, of the wife that is being cheated on, to pray for the someone. I'm not that kind of a person. I would never pray for a cheating husband, really. No. I think it's okay. Maybe before we get to the husband situation, I at some point had to leave someone because of cheating, and I had I searched within me, okay, will I be able to continue praying, go to prayer bands every Sabbath morning or every Sunday morning to pray for a cheating husband? I was not that person, and I don't think I would ever be that person. I think a person goes all out and cheats because they want to cheat, because they enjoy it. To put it upon myself to pray for such a person, I don't think. Ngamane siyeke, guys. Like, there are other things that we should be praying for, but it's not like a demon. A person goes out of his way, look for a person, they fall in love with a person, or they date, and they do. It's not like they are bewitched or something. They just enjoy it. So let's pray for other things. Personally, I would pray for other things than a cheating husband. And another thing is where I think as mothers, Coach Mbuyi, with other mothers, I think you should stop this curriculum that you put in my bridal showers of telling women that you should pray for a husband, you should like, you're basically preparing them that their husbands are going to cheat, and they should be praying for them not to leave them or to stop cheating and all that. I've been to a lot of the bridal showers where these married women are telling the newly wedded wife that no, you should begezela, you should pray for a husband, the husband is going to cheat. Basically, you're preparing the person that, okay, my husband is going to cheat with someone else, and what I should be doing is praying for them. Please remove it from the curriculum. I think it makes us, the unmarried, shy away from marriage. With, okay, hey, kuyathandazela la ekhaya sithandazela indoda efebayo. Like, can we be praying for spiritual growth, for the devil, for other things, not a cheating husband, really. And I really enjoyed the presentation, Mama, and I've learned a lot. And I understand, being someone who was cheated on, and I completely understand the issue of them cheating. And another thing is, we should be understanding to them, not too judgmental with the heavier reasons why they do it. And most of the reasons are very valid, as much as it sounds very silly, but they're very valid. Let's be accommodative. And another thing is, men, hey, amadoda ayashota, please, let's allow these women to do whatever. No, that was just on a lighter note, but I'm just saying that let's we are learning, Mama, and what I'm learning is that it's very difficult for people to be in monogamous relationships. It's very difficult for people to stay with one person. What I think should be done is praying before we even get married, that God shows us the signs of a cheating man. Should we be able to tolerate it? If we're not, please God, to break these relationships before they even get to marriage. Should maybe cheating come at a later stage, also God teaches us or shows us how to deal with it without playing the victim, without blaming another child, without having to go all out to look for the side chicks to be beating them and all that, to find the better ways of dealing with this issue. Yeah, that's me. I'm done, ma'am. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Coach, over to you.
All right. I appreciate so much this last speaker. You know, I'm listening everything that she said, speaking from you know, especially the testimonies from experience and the wise words that she's just put across. And I want to agree and concur on what he has just said. Marriage is not for kids. Marriage is not that we don't have to spiritualize everything and say pray, pray, pray. I said earlier, we are not here to endure marriage. We are here to enjoy it. And part of enjoying it is not to have to compromise the situation and accommodate somebody's weakness and say we need to pray over it. I like what somebody else also said earlier on, that there are so many important things that we need to pray for. We cannot keep on praying for one thing and one thing, only. I think I also wanted to highlight what somebody said earlier on, that how do you deal with your husband if they are the ones who are cheating, and how do you deal with it? I think what's important here is we need to realize when a person is at their weakest. If a person has weakness, we need to acknowledge their weakness, and we need to be able to work on our marriage, both of us. I may not be perfect. I may have my mistakes, but if my mistakes are not causing any havoc and breaking the marriage, the one who is having a problem, we need to sit down and work on our marriage. More often than not, we only go to counselors when we are having a problem. We need, even if there's no problem, you don't smell any side chicking, we need to be able to work on our marriage. There are so many things that we need to do in our marriages that are actually contributing to the destruction of the marriage. So let's not wait until there's something that comes in and then we go and see a counselor. Out of the blue, we need to be checking if everything that we are doing is correct. So I really agree with the fact that many times we've spiritualized marriages. Things we have run to God for things that we're supposed to do on our own, where we have to sit down and see if things are coming okay. Lastly, what I want to say, where do we go from there? From here, there are some things that I give people preparing for marriage. For example, in marriage, only one spouse changes, and that spouse is you. Only one spouse changes, and that spouse is you. What do I mean? In life, we have habits and character traits which combine to form who we are. If your habits and your character and your actions are stumbling blocks in your marriage, then you need to change. Do not expect any change from your spouse. You are the one who needs to change. 2, your marriage is bigger than you. I wish people can know that. Your marriage is bigger than you and your spouse. Therefore, you need sometimes to let go of yourself and your interest to ensure that your marriage works. Marriage is bigger than you. Marriage is a mandate that you've been given by God. And that mandate as a spouse is to ensure that your spouse makes it to heaven. He also, on the other hand, ensures that, remember, marriage is an extension of heaven. Remember, marriage is holy. It's a holy institution. So it's something that God wants to see happen and wants to see successful. So instead of being selfish, instead of looking at our own interests, sometimes we need to the pride in us to go down, so that we reach out to someone who needs help. God has put you there on purpose. God has put you there on purpose. He also has put him on purpose to save you, to rescue you. Sometimes a spouse needs to be rescued from themselves. And for us to be able to do this, we need God to partner with us, so that we are able to make this thing work. So I want us to recognize that it's bigger than us. And then you vow to love and cherish your spouse. Now, if you habitually do things that cause your spouse distress, you know, you are not acting in love. That you need to remember. You are not acting in love. Another thing, you need to have stability in your life, especially young married people. You need stability in your home front. Do everything within your power to ensure this stability. Do everything to ensure that this is stable. If our parents were able to sustain our marriage, their marriages, so that we got a chance to be nurtured and to be brought up in those marriages, why are we unstable? Why are we all over the shore? So we need to have that stability in our marriage. And finally, I want to get to throw it out of the window, to the myth that every successful man has a side chick. I want to throw it out of the window. We don't need to have side chicks. Side chicks are there. It's a pandemic, as I've highlighted, but it is something that can also be overpowered. It's something that can be conquered. There are marriages that are still role models. There are marriages that are still existing without side chicks. So we need to concentrate, or maybe to highlight such marriages, so that our young people can see that it is doable. Marriage these days is doable. It's something that can happen. It's something that God is still there in marriages. So in closing, I want to say this item, it is so deep. It is so deep that a lot can be said in this item. To think that a hating wife, you know, you mentioned children, and it touched my heart. A hating wife, you are expecting that wife to embrace that child who came through a side chick. You know, that is too much of an expectation. That is too much of things to you know. So it's broad, it is deeper, and without God, we will not be able to achieve some of the things. When we look at some of the things, we think are things that I, as a person, I cannot be able to you know, allow. But with God, God can give us the strength to be able to conquer and to be able to have happy marriages. I repeat before I close, marriages are not there for us to endure them. They are there for us to enjoy them. And if means enjoying them with God being part of them, then this is the direction, the route that we can take. Otherwise, without God, I don't see us succeeding. We will be able to deal with these things every day and cry over them every day with no solution whatsoever.
Amen. Amen. Marriages are there for us to enjoy them and not to endure them. If there's some takeaway as well from my side here, I think, Bafetsu, if you're contemplating on being a side chick, please resist. Gents, if you are married and you were thinking that it's all about you and satisfying your desires, there is a lot more at stake. Think again. Thank you so much, Coach. We are indebted to you for the time that you've taken to come and spend with us. This is not the easiest crowd to deal with and yet it's the most exciting crowd because here people are allowed to think and to freely express themselves. And we are grateful that you were able to work with us in the fashion that you operated. May God keep on blessing you. If we do invite you again, when we do invite you again, please do not turn us down. And I'm going to request at this point that you please pray for us in closing.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity. I hope everybody has been blessed. Modimo wa ka ya matla ohle, Modimo wa ka ya tletseng kgalalelo, Modimo wa ka ya mosa le mohau, ra o leboha Jehova ka sebaka se o fileng sona le phemane ya tshala ka jeno bile motle ho rona wa re bontsha boteng ba hao ka ho rona. You guided us, dear Father. Re santsane re bua ka dintho diphiri, re bua ka dintho tse thata dintho tse Modimo wa ka tse re sirang di re emaila ka nako e nngwe empa wena Modimo wa ka o bontshitse hore o teng ka hare ho rona ra o kopa he Jehova o se re tlohelle hobane re shebane le mathata re shebane le dimelo tse ka nako tse ding tse sa kgoneng ho thuseha empa wena ra o tshepa ra tseba ntate go tla tataisa ra tseba ntate go shebile jwale ka thaka leihlo la hao o re baballetse mme o tla ba le rona ho fihlela ke rapella program ena Jehova ke a o kopa Modimo wa ka hore o se etse e tlohe e fele hobane ke a bona Modimo wa ka e thusa haholo baneng ba hao ke ba rapella bana ba hao Jehova ke ba kopela mahlohonolo a hlang ha ile hodimo ke ba kopela Modimo wa ka o ba fekelello ke ba kopela Jehova o ba bapise o ba ne dintho ka letsohong tse ba tla kgona hore ntate ba fepe batho ba hlokang dithuso ba hlokang ntate le dithuto tse tshwanang le tsena tse re nang le tsona this afternoon e ba re rona o re hlonolofatse tsohle re di kopa ka lebitso la Kriste yena kileng a shwa a re siela bophelo bo sa feleng amen.
Amen and amen. At this point in time, Coach, you are more than welcome to stick around if you wish, but I imagine you probably have other things to attend to. So you are also welcome to excuse the platform. The platform will remain vibrant for as long as people want it to. I'm also going to be jumping off, but my good friend Mtandazo is going to be taking over to usher us into the after scenes. So what happens is that everyone that is on Facebook, we're going to be ending our Facebook Live. Please go onto the page and see the details if you wish to come and join the after scenes discussion on 2:30 Conversations Zoom platform. It's a free for all. There's not much structure to it, but you know we will get to engage until people doze out. For those of you that were maybe shy to comment because we're live on Facebook, we are going to end that Facebook Live. We will unmute and allow everybody to unmute themselves. The recording, I see a lot of people are asking about the recording. The recording will be on Facebook. The recording will also be posted onto YouTube. So by close of business tomorrow, there's no business on Sunday. So by tomorrow evening, it should be on YouTube as well. So please check out the 2:30 Conversations social media platforms. That is where you're going to find the recording. Asim Tadazo has just shared it there. Facebook, thank you so much.